So, hi everybody, I am P. Chandrasekhar and faculty of biology. Of course, previously we discussed so many questions regarding so many topics like human reproduction, reproductive health, and principles of the inheritance and variation. Now, today we are supposed to discuss the evolution. Evolution is a fascinating subject of biology itself, because of so many things are going to be known by you people which are not known earlier itself. So that's why what I am saying, that evolution is one of the specific and interesting topic of the biology itself. Of course, now we are going to be discussing some of the important questions like that. The first question is like that. Read the given statement and select the correct option. And statement 1. Primitive atmosphere, Earth was reducing. Because of when the Earth is separated, or when the Earth was isolated from the galaxy or solar family, so naturally the temperature of the Earth is in between 5000 to 6000 centigrades. And due to the more temperature, only the lighter element can be prevailing on the atmospheric condition, then it is itself is called reducing atmosphere. Not only that, abundant amount of the hydrogen is present, there is no presence of the free oxygen. That's why it is also named as the reducing atmosphere. So these are all things that comes under the first statement itself. And second one is the hydrogen atoms are present in primitive atmosphere combined with the oxygen atoms to form the water, leaving no free oxygen also. Of course, what I said now, the hydrogen atoms are abundant, and lighter elements like helium and hydrogen and nitrogen and carbon, these are the four of the lighter elements are so far present on the Earth. And due to the presence of abundant atoms of the hydrogen which are combined with the oxygen and not permit the existence of free oxygen atoms in the free oxygen in the atmosphere itself. So that's why the high rate of the evolution is so far takes place in the initial days or primitive atmosphere of the Earth itself. Now the options are like that. The first option is both the statements 1 and 2 are true, and statement 2 is the correct explanation of 1. And after that, the B option, both statements 1 and are true, but statement 2 is not correct explanation to the first. And third option, statement 1 is true, but statement 2 is false. And fourth option, that is the D, both statements and 1 and 2 are false. So in this question, what I said now, statement 1 and 2 are true. Not only that, statement 2 is the correct explanation to the statement 1. So that's why I am opting the first option for the correct option for this question. Now we go for the second question. A baby is born. A baby is born with a small tail. It is a case exhibiting. Already we know that 4 of the options are like that. One is the retrogressive evolution, and the second one is the mutation, and the third one is the organism, and the fourth one is the metamorphosis. What do you mean of that? What do you retrogressive evolution means? So during the course of evolution, the complex organisms are gradually develops into the simple organism. That means according to the evolution, what is the things are going to be takes place in the atmosphere. So here during the course of evolution, the simple organisms are continuously evolved into the complex organism. But here this option is explaining that the developed complex organisms are gradually evolved into the simplest organism. That's why the first option is not at all explaining the baby is born with a small tail itself. And B option is the mutation. What do you mean of mutation? According to the effect of environmental condition, if the suddenly any character or any feature or any character of the organism is suddenly changed, that will be named as the mutation. The mutations are supposed to leads into production of the new species itself. In this case, the mutation is also not related with this person itself. And the third is the atomism. Atomism is one of the specific and peculiar phenomenon which is explaining that suddenly the vestigial organs may be suddenly appear in a developed condition in the newborn baby can be defined as the atomism itself. That's why the third option is correct for this question, because of the question is itself is like that. A baby is born with a small tail. But nobody, the modern people are not having the tail. Once upon a time, the human beings are also provided with a tail. But fortunately, in case of modern people, do not have any tail. But in this case, suddenly one of the vestigial organ like the tail is suddenly appeared in the newborn baby. That phenomenon or that process can be named as the atomism itself. And fourth option, metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is nothing but it is always affected and carried with the influence of the hormone itself. Particularly in some of the developmental history of the organism, certainly the larval stages are undeveloped stages. They are gradually undergoes metamorphosis to attain into the adult or advanced adult organism itself. So the best example is the tadpole larva, the larva of the amphibian, which is naturally undergoes metamorphosis to attain into the adult itself. The metamorphosis is always carried with the help of thyroid, with the growth hormone secreted by thyroid gland itself. Regarding the fourth of the option, the third option is correct and suited to the second question. A baby is born with a small tail. So that's why I'm going to have the third option, that is called atomism, is exact option for this question. And after that, now I'm going to be explaining the third question, which of the following statement is correct. Now the options are like that. Which of the following statement is correct? And options are like that. Australopithecus is the real ancestor of modern man. And B option is the Neanderthal man is the direct ancestor of Homo sapiens. And after that, Homo erectus is the ancestor of a man. And fourth option, Cro-Magnon man's fossils has been found in Ethiopia itself. Now we go further. Of course, we know that during the evolution of human being, Dryopithecus and Australopithecus, so for just here, Dryopithecus and Ramapithecus, these are the two of the organisms are so far evolved. And here Dryopithecus is upright and Ramapithecus is having the little human being character, the futures of the man itself. But here Australopithecus is not a direct ancestor of a man. And after that, Neanderthal man is the direct ancestor of Homo sapiens, not that. Here Cro-Magnon is the best example for the modern man of the Europe. So that's why of course here what you can say that the Cro-Magnon is the one of the ancestor of man, or just here the Cro-Magnon is simply evolved from the Neanderthalensis, and in turn the Neanderthalensis is simply evolved into the modern man also. And after that, Homo erectus is the ancestor of a man. This is the correct term because of Homo erectus. Before that, Homo habilis is the one of the specific organism which is first existed and which exhibiting some of the similar characters to the modern man. But the cranial capacity is little less than the modern man or the present man. What he contains the cranial capacity about 1400 cc itself. Here that's why Homo erectus is a direct ancestor of a man, because of along with the Homo habilis and Homo erectus, these are the two forms of the human beings are simply left from the Africa and enters into East and Central Asia of the Asian continent itself. And after that, chromagny fossils has been found in the Europe itself. Okay. Now in this question, I'm concluding to select the third option, that is called Homo erectus is the direct ancestor of a man. That's why I'm opting the third one itself. And after that, I'm going to explain or discuss the fourth question. What is the most significant trend in the evolution of a man? Of course, here once again I am reading the question. What is the most significant trend in the evolution of modern man, Homo sapien, from his ancestors itself? Now I am going to read out the four of the options, like shortening of jaws, B option binocular vision, and the third option increasing cranial capacity, and D option is the upright posture itself. Of course, three apart from the third option, like increasing cranial capacity, the first option like A option shortening of jaws, during the course of evolution it is also affected the long jaws, and the chimpanzee like jaws are so far present in the a primitive organism or primitive human being. So in that way, during the course of evolution of human being, shortening of jaws is affected, and after that the binocular vision is also so far evolved during the course of evolution of human being. This is also right. And D option upright posture, that means the body is erected in a straight manner. That is also one of the evolutionary characteristics so far affected in the modern human being. But apart from the three of the options, the third option is very clear, very important one, because of the increase in cranial capacity is permitting the modern man to develop so many language skills are so far developed, and of course social awareness is also so far developed, and the intelligence of the modern man is so far developed a lot. So that's why among the four of the options, and I am selecting the C option is the correct option regarding the evolution of human being, that is called increasing cranial capacity of the brain itself. Of course, initial human beings are primitive human beings. It started in the 650, and finally Neanderthalensis is the modern man almost on a, and in which man certainly there is a cranial capacity is increased about or up to the 1400 cc to increase the intelligence, language skills, and social awareness, and all other aspects of the modern human beings are connected with the increasing of cranial capacity itself. That's why I am opting the correct option for this question is the C, sir. Some of the questions of the evolution. Now we go for some other questions. Now just here, now we go for the another question. Select the incorrect statement from the following itself. Option A, jawless fish probably evolved around 350 million years ago. It is true itself, because of during the course of evolution of the vertebrates, certainly the jawless fishes are so far evolved in the marine water particularly. So here that is the 350 million years ago itself. That's why the first option is related with this. And second option, Tyrannosaurus rex was the biggest dinosaur, about 20 feet in height. Not only that, and had used a fearsome dagger-like teeth also present. It is also true. Here Tyrannosaurus rex is measures about 20 feet height, and it possesses a fearsome dagger-like teeth itself. So that's why the second option or B option is also correct one. And third option is about 15 million years ago, the primates like Dryopithecus and Ramapithecus existed. It is also true. Just now we discussed that during the evolution of human being, the first existed or first evolved organisms of the primates are existed in the form of Dryopithecus and Ramapithecus itself. Dryopithecus is ape-like and Ramapithecus is a man-like also. So when they are existed, naturally they are existed in 15 million years ago. So that's why the third option is also true. Now we go for the D option or fourth option itself. Australopithecus is a brain size of 1400 cc, lived in Asia and between 1 lakh to 40,000 years back. This is not true because of here the cranial capacity about 1400 cc cranial capacity can be present in Neanderthal man. Not only that, this is the only man which lived in East and Central Asia, Asian continent itself, in between 1 lakh to the 40,000 years itself. So that's why now the incorrect option for this question is the D option. So that's why I am selecting the D option for this question. Sir. After that, now you go for the next question. Which of the following is an example of divergent evolution? Particularly, the evolution is explained in two of the ways also. Adaptive radiation, divergent evolution, and second one is the convergent evolution also. Here, particularly, the homologous organs are the best example, and homologous organs are the specific example or specific structures which are always supporting the divergent evolution, whereas analogous organs are the best example to explain about the convergent evolution itself. Okay, and here the homologous organs means origin and basic structure of the some of the internal parts of the vertebrates are similar, but functionally dissimilar. In case of analogous organs, the basic structure and the origin and the basic structure is different, but the function similarly. The functionally they are similar. They are simply called as the analogous organs and which are supporting the convergent. Irrespective of divergent and convergent evolution, these two of the processes are perfectly explaining how long and how the evolution is so far affected among the living organism and how the complex organisms are so far evolved from the simple organism through the ages itself, through the ages of the living organism itself. Now, once we go for the four of the option for this question, first option is the A option, eyes of mermaids and octopus. These are the best example for the analogous organs. For example, mermaids, whales are living in the marine water, and octopus is the one of the invertebrate. It is also leads its life in the marine water. In both the organisms, the eyes are helpful to see the object, to see the water or else aquatic medium itself. Now the B option, the flippers are penguins and dolphins also. Of course, penguins are belongs to the apes, whereas dolphins are belongs to the mermaids. Of course, both the organisms are, though they are belong to two different classes of the vertebrates, but the function of the flippers are helpful in the swimming movement of the penguins and dolphins also. So that's why the flippers of the penguin and dolphins are also another example for the analogous organs itself. And after that, the C option is the arts of the vertebrates itself. Already we know that when the vertebrates are so far existed in the marine water, the first existed vertebrates are simply called as the pisces or fishes. In fishes, only two-chamber heart is so far present or so far evolved, and some of the pisces are evolved into the amphibians itself. So that's why during the course of evolution of the amphibians, certainly they are attempted first to come out from the aquatic medium to lead a terrestrial medium itself. Unfortunately, amphibians are failed, not succeed their attempt to lead a terrestrial mode of life. That's why they come back to the marine water to lead both the mode of life itself. That's why they are simply called as the amphibian. So that means one group of the pisces are evolved into amphibians. Like that, two-chamber heart is gradually evolved into the three-chamber heart in the particularly amphibians itself. And after that, one group of the amphibians are gradually evolved into the reptilians itself. So naturally, majority of the reptilians are naturally contain the undivided ventricle. Undivided ventricle, it is all just that heart is also simply called as a three-chamber heart. Particularly in Crocodilia, is the advanced order of the reptilians, in which the fourth so far present. So that's why little evolution is so far takes place in between amphibians to the amphibian just in case of the heart itself. And after that, now we go for the one group of the reptilians are simultaneously evolved into the mammals and apes itself. Of course, all of the people can be know that the heart of the mammals and as well as apes are naturally having the four-chamber heart itself. That means how the pisces are evolved into amphibians, how the one group of the amphibians are evolved into the reptilians, and how the one group of the reptilians are evolved into mammalians and apes. Like that, the heart of the vertebrates are gradually evolved from two-chamber to the three-chamber to the four-chamber hearts. So that's why the heart is going to be developed and increase the number of chambers for conducting the development advanced circulation pattern itself. That's why the third option is one of the best option to explain the divergent evolution itself. So that's why the third option is correct option to this question. And in case of B option, both B and C. No, just here B and C flippers of the penguins and the dolphins are only functionally similar, but a little origin and the structure is little different. That's why only the C option is the best option for this question. Okay. Now we go for the another question. Which of the following is not true for a species? Which of the following is not true for a species? Options are like that. Members of species can be interpreted. Of course, the species is included number of individuals, and the number of individuals of a species may be contained the male and female sex also. The male and females are naturally interbreed itself to develop a fertile offspring itself. That is the one of the character of the species. Like that, members of species can be interbreed. That is also true regarding the question itself. The second question is the gene flow does not occur between the population of a species. When the two of the male and female members of a same species can be interbreed themselves, certainly the gene recombinations and the gene flow is naturally takes place, and the gene flow is flows into the initiated into the offsprings to develop the new characters that will be reached into production of the little variations of the species itself. So that's why the second option is not at all correct to the not true for the species itself. And after that, third option is each species is differently isolated from every other species. That is nature. Every species is differently isolated from other species itself. Otherwise, there is no existence of a variety of the species itself. For example, the human beings are blessed with the human beings only. Like that, pigs are blessed with the pigs only, not with other organism itself. That's why every species is differently isolated from every other species itself. And it is also true, and these variations are occurs among members of a species because there is a gene flow and there is a recombinations of the genes in between male and female. That means the crossing over will be takes place, and the genetic recombinations can be takes place during the embryonic development and as well as fertilization. Certainly, these two of the aspects are helpful to develop the new varieties of the characters. So that's why this fundamental phenomena is leads into production of the new varieties and new species of the nature itself. Among four of the option, B is not at all true for the species itself. Gene flow does not occur between the population of a species. Naturally, the gene flow is naturally takes place in between the members of the or occurs between the population of a species itself. So after you go for the some other questions of the evolution. Now another question is like that, land the columns and select the correct option. Now you go for the column 1 and column B also. Here salutation What do you mean of saltations? Saltations are a kind of sudden changes according to the evolution by the effect of environmental changes. The sudden changes may be affected among the living organism which are leads into development of new species. Okay, that is the one of the salutation. And second one is the formation of life was preceded by chemical evolution itself. That means the first life is evolved on the earth through the simple inorganic molecules by the effect of physical forces. So it means that the lightning, UV radiation and volcanic eruptions these are the three of the ways to provide the energy to the nature, and with the help of the three of the natural forces are going to be leads into production of the simple inorganic molecules, and simple inorganic molecules are simply evolved into simple organic molecules that will be leads into development of complex organic molecules, and complex organic molecules are one of the source of development of primitive organisms on the earth itself. That is the meaning of the second, that is called formation of life was preceded by chemical evolution which was proposed by Oparin and Haldane itself. And after that, the third one is the reproductive fitness itself. What do you mean of reproductive fitness? Reproductive fitness was proposed by Charles Robert Darwin, and which is he painted the reproductive fitness in the alphabet small r. Reproductive fitness is defined as the maximum number of the fertile offspring are so far produced by the organism. That will be defined as the reproductive fitness. Reproductive fitness is related with the Darwin itself. And after that, the fourth option, just the fourth one is the life comes from the pre-existent life. So the life comes from the pre-existent life. Just this one of the theory which was proposed by Louis Pasteur by proposing one of the specific experiment that is called Swan Lake experiment. It's a long Swan Lake is one of the operators which is prepared by Louis Pasteur and disproved the abiogenesis theory of the Aristotle, Thales and von Neumann, and simultaneously with the support of two more scientists like Francisco Redi and Spallanzani, and Louis Pasteur was proposed by biogenesis theory also. According to the biogenesis theory, the present living organisms on the earth are simply evolved from the pre-existent living organism, not from the non-living organism itself. In that way, now just we go for the options are like that. A option. So one is the salutation is always related with the Hugo de Vries, because of Hugo de Vries is one of the famous botanists who proposed the mutation theory. That is one is connected to the seed. D, the formation of life was preceded by chemical evolution. Chemical evolution which is related with the D itself, Oparin and Haldane. And after that, third is the reproductive fitness. What I said now, it is related with the A. Darwin. And fourth one, the life comes from the pre-existent life. This is related with the Louis Pasteur itself. And all the related options are so far comes under option A. That's why the first option is correct for this question. But for normally we are going to be discuss the B option also. B option is like that. A is related with the 1 is related with the A, and 2 is related with the B, and third is related with the C, and fourth is related with the D. It is not matched correctly. And as well as C option is 1 is D, and 2 is the C, and third is the 3 is the A, and fourth is the B, and it is also not correctly matched. And the fourth, that is the D option, 1 is C, D is concerned with the D, and the third is the concerned with the B, and the fourth is concerned with the A, and the D option is also not correctly matched. So among the four of the options to this question, the A option is correctly matched. That's why I am selecting the first option for this question itself. And after that, you go for the next question. Talkie glasses is the connective link in between. Talkie glasses, you know that the mammals is the one of the advanced class of the vertebrates, which includes three groups of the organism itself. The mammals are simply classified into three groups like Prototherium. The primitive mammals are so far included. Metatherians, little advanced than Prototherians, are simply included under Metatherians, and Eutherians are simply named as the highly advanced mammalians are simply included under Eutheria also. Prototherians are commonly called as the egg-laying mammals, and Metatherians are simply called as the pouched organisms or marsupials, and Eutherians are simply described as the true placental organisms itself. Now this question is asking that talkie glasses are recognized. Another example just here is connecting link in between reptilians and aves or birds. It is not, of course, it is not at all connected, only connected to the reptilians but not connected to the birds, because of reptilians and birds are both are egg-laying. So that's why it is not correct. Be the amphibians and reptilians. It just here the talkie glasses is not an example for the amphibian, not at all concerned with the characters of the amphibian, but it is belongs to the reptilian itself. The second option is also not related with the talkie glasses. And third option is the birds and mammals also. Of course, birds are also egg-laying, but talkie glasses is the best example for the Prototherian of the mammals itself. The birds are egg-laying, but egg-laying characters are also present in the talkie glasses, but it is not belongs to the bird itself. Only it belongs to the mammals itself. Partial answer is correct. In this case, the fourth, just here the C option is also not corrected with this question. And finally, the D option is the correct option because of the talkie glasses is the best example for the Prototherians of the mammals, which exhibit both the groups of the organism like reptilians. And how they are exhibiting the similar characters of the reptilians because of how the reptilians are egg-laying, just how the reptilians are laying the eggs, like that talkie glasses, though it is belongs to the Prototheria group of the mammals, it is also laying the eggs like reptilian. Not only that, after laying of the eggs and giving options, certainly the actual options are going to be get the suckle milk with their parents itself. The giving of milk to their children is the mammalian characters itself. That's why the talkie glasses is a connective link in between reptilians and mammals. That's why I am selecting the fourth option for this. And another question is next question is the Darwin finches provide an excellent evidence in favor of the evolution. The evolution comes from the field of course, the Darwin finches. Of course, they are providing an excellent evidence in the favor of the evolution, and the evidence came from the field of course, here the Darwin discovered the finch birds in the Galapagos Islands of the South America itself. They are leaving museums to explain the finch birds how they are evolved into different species, why they are migrated into the different geological conditions which are present in surrounding of the South America and developed into the variations of the finch birds itself. And here the finch birds are providing an excellent evidence which are taken from the first option in the embryology. It is not at all concerned with question paleontology because of the finch birds. The finch birds are still living in the Galapagos Islands and surrounding area also. And the B option is also not related biogeographic cell. This is the correct option for this question, and not only that, it is the finch birds are also best example for the divergent evolution of the adaptive radiation also. Bio means living organism, geography means how they are isolated or migrated into the different geological regions to develop into the many species itself. That's why the finch birds are providing an excellent evidence for the evolution which is taken from the biogeography. It is the supporting the biogeography itself. And D option is the anatomy. D option is also not related with this question. Now I am concluding to of the third option is the excellent answer for the correct option for the this question itself. Now I am concluding this class regarding the evolution, and next class we go for the other topic that is called of course human internal health and diseases.